Ready? I'm ready. I'm ready and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Lee David Miller to call me. I'm hoping. He's probably forgotten. He's probably got other more important things to do. Like, I don't know, go on a date, make scones, make muffins, make, what was that? Jam donut focaccia. Even the thought of it just makes me feel so good. But he still hasn't shared the recipe. This is the kind of relationship we have. All talk about jam donut focaccia, but none of the evidence, none of the sharing of the recipe so that I too might partake. Strange word, partake. I'm talking for a minute now. He's supposed to call me. He's a minute late. He's probably going to keep this in at the beginning too. I hope not. It's starting to sound a little weird. So the thing is, Finn, my nephew, for years has been trying to get me to read. Sorry.
Because I'm late.
Lee just called, and I picked up on the wrong device, so he's got to call again. Sorry about that. I was just about to launch into a story, and because I'd been talking to everyone for about a minute, waiting for you to call, and it was. I was starting to feel a little bit embarrassed, a little bit shy, a little bit like I didn't think I could sustain a podcast by myself.
Shall I clap?
You should clap. You should put me out of my misery. Clap, motherfucker, clap. This is a podcast in which two friends talk about the pleasures, absurdities, and imperfections of being human. I'm Simon Ellis.
And I'm Lee Miller. Welcome to Midlifing. I'm so sorry I was late.
That's okay. You know, 1 minute. Come on. You were a very on-time person. I think if someone had asked me years ago, is Lee Miller, does he tend to be late, tend to be on time? I would have said, it probably tends to be a little late.
Would you?
Yeah, I got that wrong.
Oh,
I underestimated.
Yeah,
Underestimated.
Yeah. If I'm late, it's one of those moments.
You mean you're on the toilet?
No, I mean some.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean something has gone wrong in the day, not that I'm on the toilet.
Oh, in the past when you've been late for podcasts, it's because you've been on the toilet. On that note, hey, nice to hear your voice. Nice to hear your voice.
Nice to be heard. I was late not because I was on the toilet, but because I was knitting.
Ah, it's either that or the toilet. The two big things in your... Anyway, that's not fair. That's not fair. You mean you just got so caught up in the knitting? They're so lost? You were basically cheek sent me high flowing in the knitting, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. I was aware of the time and I was like, I've got to get to the end of this row, otherwise I'll lose my count.
Because you need to...
I'm doing a rib stitch, which I'm not great at, and I've got to really concentrate.
Yeah, right. And the counting is about individual stitches, or you need to know how many are in the row before you've stopped the end of the row?
It's individual stitches, so I'm going knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2.
Of course you are.
So it's like you've got to flick the yarn backwards and forwards. It's a little bit more complicated than I'm used to.
And so once you get good at that, will you be able to stop mid-row and come and do the podcast?
I will be able to read my knitting better.
Ooh.
At the moment, I'm still a little bit like, am I knitting into a purl or am I knitting into a knit now? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
so
should say
they look and feel different?
They do. They bumpy and V-shaped. So it's like one's a bump and one's a V. And I know theoretically what they look like, but I can't make my brain figure out. I know how they look differently, but I just
assume a purl is bumpy, right?
Yeah. Anyway, it's all very fascinating to everybody, I am sure. But that's what I was.
I think we've got tens of listeners interested in your knitting.
I mean, they probably should be.
Ones
because,
of listeners. I mean, it's less than tens is tricky in English, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think probably there are more people interested in your bread than are interested
Do you think
in my knitting.
we could run a survey on that one?
Or we could just, I need to just know, did your bread get eaten last week?
Oh, I didn't. I think it did. I never actually asked nor found out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you dropped off bread this morning, the woman wasn't dead. She'd not gotten high on your supply.
I did notice a body just around the corner behind the ground almonds. So maybe, and there was no one there to open. I just left the bag of bread, so I doubled down. Yeah. No, different shopkeeper today. So maybe she hasn't. Maybe she didn't survive the first flourishings of gluten.
Yikes!
Yeah, not the first for her.
Yeah.
Listen, I was just about to tell everyone that because I was just about to tell everyone that my nephew. This is while you were knitting. That nephew Finn, has been listeners, long-term listeners will know Finn very well. He's been bugging me, unfair to say bugging, been suggesting for a long time that I watch Normal People.
Okay, the Paul Mescal and
Sally Edgar.
That's the person who wrote it.
No, that's Sally
woman.
Edgar.
Oh, Daisy Edgar.
Daisy? Got a hyphenated surname. Yeah, and it's by the Sally Rooney. Is the book based on the book by Sally Rooney? Yeah. Wayne Rooney's older sister, I assume. And he said, "I think you'll like it." He kept on saying, "I think you'll like it." So I started watching it last night, and what I now know is that Gladiator 2 was a truly shocking movie. That Paul Mescal is infinitely more interesting in this than he was in Gladiator 2.
Oh, well, I haven't seen Gladiator 2,
I wouldn't.
But if you find yourself falling down a Paul Mescal rabbit hole, Sunburn, heartbreakingly beautiful, and All of Us Strangers, I talked about before.
Is he in All of Us Strangers? What?
It's just it breaks my heart.
Oh.
It breaks my heart.
Okay, I'm going to go on a Paul Mescal bender.
Oh, well, while you're at it...
I don't actually. I find him really hard to watch because his character it's just so frustrating. Partly because it just reminds me of me at that age. It's like, oh, can't you just say what you feel, you big fucking dick? Like, just, oh. It can't be that hard. Surely it can't be that hard.
And yet.
Yeah.
And yet.
So I'm more attracted to her than to Paul Mescal.
Well, that's fine. I will give you some recommendations for her as well.
Oh, not Twister.
You're going to struggle, though. It's Twisters, plural.
Oh, sorry,
she's
in the sequel.
She's very good at it.
But you know, the next one coming up is going to be called Twisters.
Twisterific. She's in a film called Fresh. Which you will struggle with because it's a horror film. Very good.
Good.
Very good. Very. I mean, it's
I think I'd rather watch Sinners. I want to watch Sinners before of any of those kinds of films. I want to watch Sinners before any of them. But I just like the thought of it. I need to watch it with someone. I need to have someone holding my hand.
Okay.
Finn, come on over. We can watch Sinners together.
I was thinking we could go to the cinema at the same time, and I could hold my telephone. You could hold your telephone. And we could think about each other's hands. Oh,
that's a great idea. And I could just be messaging you during the cinema. Imagine, I mean, that couldn't be a problem, could it? Anyway, not Normal People, not Ordinary People. Normal People, very good.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Very good.
Ordinary People is the Timothy Hutton,
1970s,
Mary Tyler Moore, 1981 breakout role. Timothy Hutton won an Oscar for it.
Was it really Mary Tyler Moore?
Yeah, she played the mum. I can't remember who played the dad.
Oh, because I was saying she'd be in different age bracket from Timothy Hutton.
Yeah, she was his mum. Yeah. I was. Have I told you about the time I was at the theatre with Mary Tyler Moore?
No, you have not. wait! Just before you do it, can you just sing the song, the opening theme song from the Mary Tyler Moore show?
No, I can't.
You can't.
No, because I don't think Mary Tyler Moore was particularly well syndicated in the UK, so I don't know that I ever watched it. However, Rhoda was on the BBC, which was the spin-off from the Mary Tyler Moore show. So I remember watching Rhoda.
Because we definitely watched the Mary Tyler Moore show, but I cannot get the theme song into my head. Like I can't even reach for it.
Yeah, I went to see. Gosh, this would be what? She's been dead a while now, so it probably is about 15 years or so ago. We were in New York and we went to see the Worcester Group. They were doing a revival of. What were they doing?
Worcester Group, everyone, for those who don't know, are an experimental theatre company based in New York, known for lots of things, but Willem Dafoe is one of the reasons that people might have heard of them. But also the one, didn't they the one where they learnt it, they tried to read a play whilst on acid and then videoed
that's called LSD, just the high points. Yeah,
and they videoed it, and then they learned
reperformed
the video of that. Exactly. Yeah.
We used to work with a woman who was in the cast of LSD, a woman called Nancy Riley, a very funny woman to spend time with.
I always wanted to see that show because I kind of had this idea that it would be incredibly mundane.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which I saw. Hang about. I'm going to do the thing. Bob, when we went to New York, what did we see? All I've got in my head is the carrier frequency, but of course that's an Impact Theatre Company's piece. Can you just look on the Worcester Group website and see what they made? And then just read them out. It's one of the
Thanks,
old ones.
thanks, Bob.
I'm going to edit all of this out. Simon shouts, thanks, Bob.
Point, One Stick Road.
No.
We're going through the entire back catalogue of the Worcester Group. Lucky they only made 3 pieces.
No, go back. It's before House Lights.
Lee's going to try and cut this stuff out. He's going to cut it out.
Stop talking, Simon. I can't hear Bob.
He's going to cut it out, and it's going to ruin the kind of ridiculousness of our podcast. The fact that in the middle of it, he's yelling out to Bob saying, "Could you look up the Worcester Group?
Sure.
I want to know what the Worcester Group." Also, by the way,
was it North Atlantic?
But for British people, Worcester is not spelt. It's not spelt WORCESTERCESHIRE. It's not Worcestershire. It's just Worcester, as in WOOSTR.
Was Frances McDormand in that? Okay.
Was Frances McDormand? Did she perform with the Worcester Group?
She came to them late. She wasn't a founder member. So Kate Volk is one of the most famous female performers of the Worcester Group, and then they had a kind of a rolling roster of people who performed with them. Nancy Riley was one of the early people, the woman that we worked with. But then they started to work with really famous folk, and they did. Frances McDormand was in the. I've just forgotten it already. North Atlantic.
Was that after? After she'd had the role in Fargo or before?
Yeah.
So she became very famous by that point.
Yes, yeah, and so then she could presumably hang around doing other stuff. So she was in the Worcester Group's revival of North Atlantic in 2010,
and
it also had Maura. Yeah, it also had Maura Tierney in it as well, who is an actor made famous by ER, and then she was in that programme where everybody slept with everybody else. It was really fucking boring, and I couldn't watch it.
Wait, there's a TV show where everybody sleeps with everyone else?
Oh, it was all about affairs and murder, and it was just shit.
Like Desperate Housewives?
No, it was like high class. It was that fella who's English but always plays Americans. He was McNulty in The Wire.
Yeah.
You know him?
Yeah.
Well, he was in it, and Maura Tierney played his wife, and I got about 3 episodes in, and...
I wish you could remember the name of it.
Oh, well, Bag of Shit
Bob,
it's called, I think.
Bob, can you look up... Can you...
You can't shout, Bob. She's
Bob!
not in your ears. She's in...
Bob!
It's Bob is shouting back, it's called The Affair. So there you go.
So, okay, and then Mary Tyler Moore was in the... and was she humming the theme song to her own show?
No, she wasn't. So what happened was we bought $5 tickets,
Oh, yeah.
And we were up in the rafters. I mean, we were past the gods. We were somewhere on the roof. It was so far away. We were in the Mikhail Baryshnikov Theatre. I don't know if you know it.
Well, I've heard of it, of course.
Yeah,
The Misha. I think of it as
know.
the Misha Theatre, but yes, never been there. Heard of it. Loved him.
Yeah. I didn't know it. We got.
You know, he's the reason I started dancing. Of course.
I know. Yeah.
I had lots
White
of
Knights.
posters. Yeah, I had lots of posters of him on my wall.
Yeah, for sure.
Handsome man.
He played one of Carrie Bradshaw's love interests
Oh,
in Sex and the
yes,
City.
yes.
Should anybody be interested?
Yeah, I'm going to look those up.
Which reminds me of there was a guy. So this is the day of Lee being in rooms with people who are moderately famous after they are no longer famous. There was a director called Ken Russell.
Yeah, but Mary Tyler Moore her fame didn't diminish after she was permanently famous. Not like she went through a high point. I mean, of course, she had a career, but she remained famous until she died.
Oh, yeah.
She got an obit,
sure.
like a famous person's obituary.
Oh, yeah, she did. Ken Russell probably got a famous person's obit as well. Anyway, he used to live in the Lake District, near where I lived. And he would go to the same coffee shop that I would go to, where a girl called Liz, can't remember her last name, used to wait tables and we'd get free pots of tea if we went in on a Saturday night. She never met Liz. But Ken Russell would go in and make a real nuisance of himself and be quite
Wait, in the coffee shop or in the...
In the coffee shop, yeah. And so it was quite
Wait,
fun
what
to be in
kind
when he
of
was there.
nuisance of himself? Like, this is not...
He was
this
just-
is this egg runny? This egg's not runny?
No, he would just spread out and he would talk really loudly to himself.
Oh.
And he'd spread and he'd yell to the waitstaff.
Kind of like a British Peter Jackson.
No. Peter Jackson's quite contained. Oh, do you know New Zealand's Skinny?
No, Lil and I were at a restaurant in London, and he was sitting next door to us, and he was not contained at all. He was infatuated with the sound of his own voice.
Interesting. Unlike Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow, who, of course, we sat next to. We had lunch that time.
I don't sit next to any famous people in Coventry.
No, funny that. I don't sit... Oh, hang about. I do sit next to some famous people in Totnes, but that's a separate issue.
It's probably their second houses, their third houses.
Yeah, exactly that. So, Ken Russell was once on a show. I think he was on a talk show like Wogan or something, and this is coming to Mikhail Baryshnikov, but it's not. What's the other famous dancer who was a nightmare? Older than Baryshnikov, but
Well, definitely not. Oh, wait, just not. I thought I was going to say Nijinsky because I just wanted to say Nijinsky. No. I know it's Nureyev, but what was his first name? Rudolph. Rudy. I think of him as Rudy.
Nureyev was in a film because he did that thing where he tried to have an acting career, like many people do post dance.
I'm just about to start mine. Actually, I'm just launching mine. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. But yes, go on.
So he was in a Ken Russell film, and there was a moment where I think he was playing a prisoner, and he was supposed to piss himself, and he wouldn't. He refused to piss himself.
You mean the character or
the character?
Nureyev?
Well, the character was going to piss himself in the film. Nureyev refused to piss himself. He wouldn't debase himself in that way because I think
he'd also run out of ways to debase himself in his life, basically.
Well, yeah. So Russell just said, "Go ahead, just pee your pants." And he said, "I will not just pee my pants." So Ken Russell goes, "Fine, I'll put a hose pipe down your pants." And he put a hose pipe down his pants, and by all accounts, Nureyev just kept pulling it longer, going, "No, my penis is longer than this." and he pulled it until when he started to piss himself, just looked like he had water on the knee. It didn't make any sense, and we had to cut it. And I often thought of that story while he was in the thing. Anyway,
while he was in the what?
Jump to
in the cafe.
In the cafe, being
yeah. So I
jumped to.
But I just hang on. Don't jump back to Baryshnikov yet. We just need to stay on Nureyev for a moment because that is pretty much going to be what my acting career area is going to be like as well. I'm sorry. My penis is way longer than that. Your penis is not in the shot. I don't care. I don't care. It's so much longer than that. Simon, it's a close-up of your chin, for fuck's sake. I don't, nope. Anyway, it's the left side of my chin, mofos.
So is that when you take direction? Like, so Simon, what we need you to do is we need you to walk in, we need you to react. You're surprised, you're shocked, you're disappointed. Okay, but I need you to remember that my penis is longer than that. Okay, Simon, that's good. And action. Are you all
it's
remembering?
Also weirdly sounding like team meetings at the moment as well.
Oh, what's going on there? That's
I just had to drop work into this conversation somehow. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
What? You go and spoil it all
Yes,
by saying something
sorry,
stupid
I'm
like,
sorry.
I work
Like,
in a
I love you.
university. Let me tell you about it.
Speaking of saying something stupid, so, okay, that's Nureyev. I think we've covered him. We didn't really get to talk about Vasilij Nijinsky, which is disappointing, but let's leap forward to Mikhail Baryshnikov.
And so we're in the Baryshnikov Theatre, we're in the gods, the rafters, we're so high up, and evidently the Worcester Group, even with Maura Tierney, Kate Volk and
couldn't sell out.
Francis McDormand, couldn't sell out. So the ushers come up and go, would you like to come down to the expensive seats? And we were like, whoa, we spent $5 a piece. Yes, we would. And we ended up sitting directly behind, I mean, literally behind Mary Tyler Moore. Beautifully coiffed hair.
Did you how did you recognise her if you were directly behind her? Did she look around and go, shush? Or did she look around and say, Bob, can you tell me their fourth work before this?
We'd seen her in the foyer and I went, look who that is. And Bob went, who? And I went, that woman there. She went, that old woman there. And I said, yeah, that one. Look who she is. She was like, she's got lovely hair. Who is she? I was like, Mary Tyler Moore. She went, who's Mary Tyler Moore? Because Bob
that didn't syndicate.
Awesome.
Didn't syndicate very well.
Anyway, so we're wedged between Mary Tyler Moore in front of us and behind us a whole row of what I will think of as Midwesterners who had come in to see a show. And they were quite confused by the Worcester Group. And so they spent the entire show whispering quite loudly to one another, going, I don't get it. I don't get it. What's going on? And then the Worcester Group are not famed for being family friendly. And so there was some, shall we say, blue language. And at some point, there was a fella behind us, turned to his wife and just went, that's dirty. That's real dirty.
But wait, so they were Midwesterners because just sort of generic country,
generic American tourists.
Yeah, okay. And isn't that interesting that they ended up, of all the shows, maybe they couldn't get tickets to Phantom of the Opera?
Exactly. I think they just went on to some kind of scalping site or something and just got, what's the cheapest? $5. We'll go and see that. Yeah. Exactly. So they were brought downstairs with us.
Oh, I see. They didn't have, because that would have been weird to have spent, hundreds of dollars on a.
Yeah. No. I think they got late tickets like we had.
Maybe they were just really big Mary Tyler Moore fans, and they were just following around everywhere.
Well, it was fascinatingly silly to just be in between these people because at the end. They were giggling. That's dirty. That's real dirty. And Mary Tyler Moore turned to her partner and just went, that was a real tour de force. So we've got, that's dirty. That was a tour de force. And me and Bob going like, this is a stranger night out than we were planning.
Hang on, wait, I definitely must have told you my guy from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Orlando Bloom?
Yes. I have.
You have, but you can tell me.
No, I'm not going to tell you again.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not more famous and that I can't bring, by more, I mean at all, and I can't bring really fabulously sort of celebrity cameos to the yard.
Well, by the time we're in our 70s, so let's say 20 years from now, this podcast will be, we'll have a few episodes under our belt, and sure, it will be famous for just being stupidly long.
Still going?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And at that point, we'll be able to ask, who would you have on? That's likely to
Paul Mescal.
Paul,
Tell us all about.
Back in episode 235 or whatever it is.
Simon was really critical of Gladiator 2, but he liked your work in Normal People.
Although he preferred the woman.
We knew she was called Daisy, but we forgot everything else because we're apparently sexist pigs.
I mean,
Goodbye.
he'll be riveted by that conversation. In fact, we don't even need to have the conversation now. Next week on Midlife, and we have a pretend conversation with Julia Roberts. That's what came to mind. That's what came to mind for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Madonna.
I don't want a conversation with Madonna.
Do you not?
No. I mean, what are you going to talk to her about?
Yeah. Can't be that famous because I think that famous is pretty boring.
Yeah.
Have to be less famous so they're still interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think, the Beyoncés and the Madonnas of the world. I'm not in the Taylor Swifts. I've got nothing to say to you.
So Taylor Swift's people, if you're thinking, let's get her on midlife, sorry, it's just a flat no.
It's a flat no.
I mean,
same with Beyonce.
I quite like your work, both of you. I like your work, but this is you're just not.
You can take
I
it or
don't
leave
think.
it.
Yeah, I don't think our audience is.
I think they probably want to hear from, I don't know, mid-level soccer players or retired tennis pros or.
If we could get Bjorn Borg on the show, that would be. I mean, I don't think he'd be that interesting, but
I'd spend the entire time asking him about
his
his
underwear.
pants. Yeah, and didn't he have sex in a cupboard with the nanny?
That was Boris.
That's the
I
other
think
thing
that was
I-
Boris Becker. I think you're confusing your BB tennis players. And do you
could
like
I
how
be
now I
expected to
know?
tell them
Do you like
apart?
now I know gossip?
Yeah, it's like, Simon, utterly uninteresting gossip. Unless it's connected to a tennis player, then let me tell you everything that's ever. Oh, I will tell you something.
It was Boris.
about
It was
Steffi Graf.
Exactly. Oh my God! And Monica Seles. I mean, she got stabbed by that Steffi Graf fan. I mean, that was still boggles my mind.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to talk about confusing or dark things today, given that the Third World War is about. Oh my gosh!
I had heard that. I had heard that.
Yeah.
I've been.
it's,
I've got a bunker downstairs with a bread oven.
bread
in it.
oven. Yeah. We woke up this morning and I said to Bob, "Hey, we're not dead," and Bob said, "That's the nicest thing to hear when you wake up."
Yeah. Hey, I reckon we should stop.
I think on so many levels.
Yeah. See ya. See you next week.
Bye. Bye.